If someone had told me 2 years ago that I'd be writing a story like this, I would have laughed them off. My wife, Laura, and I had what I thought was one of those rare solid marriages. We were best friends. We laughed at the same dumb movies, argued over board games, shared inside jokes no one else would get. We met 8 years ago through mutual friends. She was a kindergarten teacher, nurturing, bubbly, always the light in the room. I worked in IT for a mid-size company, a bit of an introvert, but we balanced each other well. Our life was simple. We lived in a cozy little house, hosted dinners for friends, talked about starting a family once we were a bit more financially secure. That was the plan. 2 years ago, Laura got really into fitness. It started when one of her friends from school invited her to a CrossFit class. She came home that evening glowing, her cheeks flushed, raving about how challenging and fun it was. I encouraged her. I loved seeing her excited about something new. Soon, she was going 3 times a week, then 4, then practically every evening. I didn't think much of it at first. Everyone needs an outlet, right? And I was happy she had found hers. I figured it gave her balance after long days wrangling a room full of 5-year-olds. The first sign that something was off came 6 months ago. Laura started getting distant. Subtle at first. She'd come home later and later, often after I had already eaten dinner. Our conversations dried up. I'd ask about her day, and she'd give clipped, one-word answers before disappearing into the shower or scrolling through her phone. Our intimacy faded too. We'd gone from a couple who couldn't keep our hands off each other to barely touching in weeks. I tried not to jump to conclusions. I figured maybe she was stressed. Teaching can be brutal sometimes. But the CrossFit thing started to seem like more than just a hobby. Her phone buzzed constantly with notifications from group chats. She'd laugh at messages she never shared with me. One night, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered, and a message preview flashed across the screen. Can't stop thinking about today's WOD and that smile after. You're amazing. It was from Jason, her trainer. I stared at the message, my stomach twisting. Could it be innocent? CrossFit people were always weirdly cultish and close, right? That's what I told myself. But something in the wording, that smile, nodded me. When she came out of the bathroom, I tried to act normal, but I couldn't shake it. That night, lying in bed, I asked her softly, "Hey, is everything okay with us?" She stiffened. Of course. Why? You just seem a little distant lately. I'm tired, Rob. Teaching all day, working out, it takes a lot out of me. I let it go. But the doubts only grew. A few weeks later, I was working late when she came home and went straight to shower. Her gym bag was on the couch, half open. I don't know what came over me, but I peeked inside. There was a folded note tucked in her water bottle pocket. Last night was incredible. Couldn't stop thinking about your lips on me during that cool down. See you tomorrow. Jay. I felt like the air had been sucked from my lungs. My hands shook. I read it again and again, hoping I was misinterpreting, that maybe it wasn't what it seemed. But I knew. I spent the next few days in a fog. Every smile she gave me felt like a lie. Every kiss like a betrayal. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to know for sure. I started checking her location when she was at the gym. A couple times, her pin was at a nearby apartment complex, not the CrossFit box. The final blow came one Friday. She said she was going to an evening class. I waited 30 minutes, then drove to the gym myself. Her car wasn't there. My heart hammered as I drove to the apartment complex. And there it was, her car, parked out front. I sat there for what felt like hours, staring at that damn car. Finally, I drove home. When she came back that night, she acted like everything was fine, kissed me on the cheek, and curled up on the couch. The casual cruelty of it nearly broke me. I knew I had to confront her. But how? My mind raced with what-ifs. What if I was wrong? What if she lied? What if she admitted it? Could I even look at her the same way? I spent that whole weekend rehearsing what I would say. Monday evening came, and as we sat down for dinner, I looked her straight in the eyes. "Laura," I said, my voice shaking. "I know about you and Jason." Her fork clattered to the plate. Her face drained of color. What are you talking about? Please don't lie. I've seen the messages. I know where you've been." She stared at me, mouth open, like a fish gasping for air. Then the tears started. "I never meant to, it wasn't supposed to happen like this," she whispered. She sat there crying, her hands trembling, her face streaked with mascara. I watched her, numb. I thought when this moment came, I'd be furious, maybe shout, slam a door, throw something. But sitting there, all I felt was hollow. A vast emptiness where love used to live. "Talk," I finally said, my voice quieter than I expected. She wiped her face with a napkin, her shoulders hunched. "It started a few months ago," she whispered. "Jason, he's just so confident. He made me feel wanted. Desired. I didn't mean for it to happen, Rob, I swear." I clenched my jaw. Didn't mean for it to happen. As if she'd just tripped and fallen into his bed. "How many times?" I asked. The words tasted bitter. She stared at the table, unable to meet my gaze. "I don't know, 5, 6? Maybe more." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Each word twisted deeper. "Why?" My voice broke. "Why wasn't I enough?" She sobbed harder. "It wasn't you. It was me. You're so steady, so good." But I started to feel invisible. Like I was just a wife, not a woman anymore. And then at the gym, Jason noticed me. He made me feel alive again. I wanted to scream that I noticed her every damn day. That I'd loved her through everything, her insecurities, her bad days, her triumphs. But what would be the point? She'd already chosen to seek validation elsewhere. I stood up. "I need some air," I said, grabbing my keys. "Rob, please," she reached out, but I pulled away. I drove aimlessly for hours that night, the city lights blurring through my tears. My mind kept replaying every tender moment, now twisted, tainted. The movie nights, the lazy Sundays in bed, the whispered I love yous, all stained with betrayal. By the time I returned home, dawn was creeping into the sky. Laura was on the couch, eyes red and swollen. She looked like she hadn't slept. "We need to talk," I said flatly. She nodded, voice hoarse. "Please don't leave me, Rob. I made a mistake. I'll do anything to fix this." "Anything?" I asked, not out of hope, but disbelief. "Yes. I'll stop going to the gym. I'll block him. I'll go to therapy. Just, please give me a chance." I stared at her, unsure of what I even wanted anymore. Part of me wanted to believe her, to rebuild. Another part wanted to walk out and never look back. Over the next few days, I existed in a haze. We talked, we cried, but trust, once shattered, isn't easily mended. She followed through, quit the gym, blocked Jason, started seeing a therapist. But I couldn't unsee that note, unfeel the betrayal. Every time she touched me, I flinched. Every kiss tasted like ashes. One night, a month later, I sat her down. "I can't do this," I said softly. She looked broken. "Rob, please. I've tried. God knows I've tried. But every day I look at you, I see him. I see what you chose over us." Tears welled in her eyes. "But I love you." "Maybe you do. But love isn't enough anymore. Not after this." The next weeks were agonizing. We divided our things. I moved into a small apartment across town. Friends tried to console me, but how do you explain this kind of grief? It wasn't just losing a wife, it was losing a future, an entire life we'd built. Months passed. Some days were harder than others. But slowly, the fog lifted. I started focusing on myself, therapy, new hobbies, reconnecting with old friends. Piece by piece, I reclaimed my life. As for Laura, we spoke occasionally, mostly about logistics. I heard she left teaching for a while, took time to sort through her own mess. I don't know if she and Jason ever rekindled things. I stopped caring. It's been a year now. I won't pretend I'm fully healed. Some wounds don't fade, they change you. But I've found a strange kind of peace. I've learned that sometimes, the people you trust most can break you. And sometimes, walking away isn't weakness, it's survival. I still believe in love. But next time, I'll know better than to trust it blindly.